on the last day of rehearsals, I took the whole of the Bennett family to the house. They had to claim that house as their own. It was their space, and the crew were guests. And we had a lovely time with them as
well. Joe brought us all down on a day when everything was immaculate. There was no equipment. Everything was dressed.
I heard him say I'm here.
And we just got to sort of be and explore and play, and it really is. It was enchanting, really enchanting.
We played sardines, and we were there all day, hiding and discovering the house.
Good hiding place.
We were allowed to do exactly what we wanted and shout and scream and anything. It just worked. We just gelled completely in a way that none of us could have imagined.
It was lovely. What a joy of a job. 3 months skipping around the English countryside with a load of girls. It was heaven. So, ladies and gentlemen, we start looking through the window tight on Keira and Matthew coming across the bridge. I punch them for a close-up here, and then we do a reverse on Brenda from there. OK, let's go.
August 2004, and shooting begins on the new feature film adaptation of Jane Austen's masterpiece, Pride and Prejudice. Keira Knightley and Matthew Macfadyen will head an eclectic cast, which includes such luminaries as Donald Sutherland and Brenda Blethyn.
Oh, Mr. Bennett!
For me, it's been absolutely incredible.
Austen wrote the first draft of the story when she was just 21, under the title First Impressions.
I think she was so young when she wrote it, put it in a drawer and left it. And it was, it's a masterpiece.
It wasn't until after she published her first novel, Sense and Sensibility, that she decided to rewrite her early draft some 15 years later, when it was finally published as Pride and Prejudice. Remarkably, almost everything Austen ever wrote has successfully transferred to the big screen. From traditional adaptations, like the Oscar-winning Sense and Sensibility, to modern reworkings like the 1997 hit Clueless, based on Emma, and of course the Pride and Prejudice-inspired Bridget Jones's Diary.
Virtually every single romantic comedy that we'd made, contemporary romantic comedy, was in some way based on this story.
Tim Bevan of Working Title, whose films include Love Actually and 4 Weddings and a Funeral, credits Austen's novel as the blueprint for many of today's most successful romantic comedies.
They bought you 4 Weddings and a Funeral, they bought you Notting Hill, they bought you Bridget Jones, and now they bring you the original, probably, is really what is an approach to it.
Many Hollywood films have plagiarised plot lines, and Pride and Prejudice is probably the best plot line of all.
This is the first time we've seen it in the cinema since Laurence Olivier and Greer Garson, which was, 50 years ago.
Despite the impeccable pedigree of the material, director Joe Wright still had his reservations about the project.
I was prejudiced, really, about Pride and Prejudice. I come from a background of kind of social realist drama, I suppose. So I kind of poo-pooed it a little bit. Thought it was all a bit kind of posh, really, and I was a bit more street than that, I thought.
Jane Austen was not writing for any worthy reason. She wrote because she wanted to write, but she wanted to entertain people. That's the whole point about her books. They're not there to make people lead better lives.
You've got a mother who's hideously embarrassing. You fall madly in love with somebody who you can't admit you're in love with and who you hate. Unrequited love for a complete cad. You've got sisterly jealousies and squabbles. You've got loyalties. You've got... it's all there.
As I read it, I became quite emotionally involved in what I was reading, until the end of the script, and I was weeping like a baby.
Dear Mr. Bennett, have you heard? Netherfield Park is let at last.
The story centres on Mr. and Mrs. Bennet and their family of 5 young and single daughters looking for love, romance, and of course a large bank account.
Who's single? Mr. Bingley, apparently.
Mrs. Bennet is not some sort of broad comic dowager, silly creation. She's terribly funny, but she's a sort of heroic character because she's got 5 daughters, and within a very short period of time before they become date expired, she's got to marry them to save the family.